Good morning, wrestling fans. Today is Sunday, June 16th, 2024. I am Lance Brock. Welcome to the Sunday episode of Good Morning, Wrestling Fans. And it is also Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. First of all, unfortunately, last night there was not a new episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic, and also sorry for the wind right now. It's a little windy on the walk to work this morning, but the reason for no 360 Wrestling Fanatic last night was I actually did an episode, but I made a pretty dumb mistake, which unfortunately I actually have made a couple times before. Doing the episode, I recapped yesterday's WWE Clash at the Castle premium live event, AEW Saturday Collision from last night. Recapped both shows, and just about to end the podcast, I look and I see that it was not recording. I don't know what happened, but I thought I was recording, but turned out that I wasn't. I know that's a pretty dumb mistake to make, but so I was just talking to myself about Clash at the Castle and Collision for no reason. But instead of talking about both those shows here on GMWF right now, maybe later today or tonight sometime I might try to get in an episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic and talk about both Clash at the Castle and last night's episode of Collision. And also there was a show this morning, part of the New Japan Pro Wrestling Soul Tour as well. And tonight, WWE Superstar Sunday returns on A&E with Biography WWE Legends. And tonight's subject on Biography is ECW, which, when you talk about Extreme Championship Wrestling, that is definitely a big part of pro wrestling history. And don't get me wrong, was a big ECW fan back in the day, and it's just like I talked about who killed WCW. There's just been so many documentaries and books, things like that, about ECW. WWE had the DVD back in the day, The Rise and Fall of ECW, which was a huge success at the time. And it was partially because that DVD sold so well, and with the One Night Stand pay-per-view that year too was when they brought back ECW as a third brand. And unfortunately it didn't work out so well, but that's a different story. But don't get me wrong, I'm sure it will be a very good episode of Biography tonight. Just not really too much that I think people can learn unless it's a casual wrestling fan tuning into A&E that might not know anything about the history of ECW, then that would probably be good. But for all the wrestling nerds like myself, pretty much have heard all the stories from ECW history, unless, who knows, I could possibly tell some new stories tonight that even us wrestling nerds haven't heard before. And that is all for this Sunday morning episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Once again, I might have a new episode, hopefully, of 360 Wrestling Fanatic today, talking all about Clash at the Castle and AEW Collision. But until then, you can go back and listen to Friday's episode where I talk about TNA Against All Odds, WWE SmackDown, and AEW Rampage. That is now available right here on Spreaker or wherever you listen to podcasts. And thanks for listening, everyone. But you can go in the comment section. You can leave your thoughts and opinions on all the pro wrestling you have watched this weekend. Either it's TNA Against All Odds, WWE SmackDown, AEW Rampage, WWE Clash at the Castle, AEW Collision, New Japan Pro Wrestling Soul from this morning. Like I said, any of the pro wrestling you have watched this weekend, you can leave your thoughts and your opinions and maybe even your ratings in the comment section, either right here on Spreaker, YouTube, or wherever you listen to 360 Wrestling Podcast if they have a comment section. Once again, I just want to say Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, especially if there are fathers listening to the podcast this morning. We'll be back tomorrow for the Monday morning episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans. Hope you all will join me once again. But until then, have a great pro wrestling day.